What's up, everybody? Peter X Coffer here, and welcome to another episode of Classic Songs. And today we're doing "You Are So Beautiful" by Joe Cocker. Love doing these episodes because I learned so much, and what I've learned here off the bat, like it's well known that Joe Cocker is kind of the king of doing cover songs, but I didn't realize this was a cover. The writers are Billy Preston and Bruce Fisher. They're co-writers, and Billy Preston did it first. Cocker's version came out in 1974. Billy Preston's version came out in 74 as well. Um, but Billy Preston wrote the song. Who knew? I didn't know. It wasn't even on the album. It was a B-side for a single. So for folks who don't know, I mean, radio back in the day played singles, and let's say your album had 12 songs. You would pick 3 or 4 songs and release those as singles. Sometimes the B side were other songs on the album. Sometimes you kind of mixed it up and put a song that didn't get on the album on one of the B sides of the singles. And this was done because you had a time limit. As far as Wax, I mean, I think Wax was at most 48 minutes, a vinyl Wax, records. I believe 86 minutes was for CDs, and probably 120 minutes maybe was the max for cassettes. And sometimes groups had leftover, artists had leftover songs, and they'd use it as a B-side on a single. So that's kind of what Billy Preston did here. Another interesting tidbit on the writing is Denny Wilson of the Beach Boys may have helped out Billy Preston, with some final touches on the song when not given credit. So it's kind of the rumors out there hasn't been confirmed, and the Beach Boys used to do this song in concert a lot. So we know Billy Preston, one of the great keyboard players in pop history, sort of rock, sort of R&B, but he towards the end of the Beatles run, he did a lot of stuff with the Beatles and is kind of credited with reinvigorating them the last couple albums there, and some people call Billy Preston the fifth Beatle. The interesting thing is, Billy Preston did this song. The song is about his mother, and one of his friends covered it. What's his name here? So Sam Moore, his friend, was, doing a live show, and Billy shows up, and he kind of freaked out. He's like, because he was doing the song to attract women. Billy's like, "What are you doing, man? This is about my mother." Well, hey, so women like this song. Now the interesting thing is, when you see Joe Cocker's version, I've seen it done in TV commercials and movies and documentaries, and sometimes it's for a woman, sometimes it's for a daughter, a mother. It's kind of universal like that. So this is a B-side as far as Billy Preston goes for a song called Struttin', which was on the Kids and Me album from 74 by Billy Preston. Billy's version is 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Joe Cocker's version is 2 minutes and 39 seconds. One of the quickest effective ballads of all time. As I've done a couple ballads and classic songs. I'm like, usually takes a while to get there and to build the tension and to tell the story. But Joe was able to do it really, really fast in this song. And then he cut out his solo, that Billy Preston put in. This was on Joe Cocker's I Can Stand a Little Rain album from 1974. And for, Joe Cocker's version comes in at number 5. Billy Preston's version is very interesting. It starts off with the organ and the choir, and it starts off as kind of the gospel song. And, pulling the choir and the organ in and out, but it fades into a pop song. So very interesting. I can see, why Billy said this is about his mother. And when it comes to Joe Cocker's version, hey, it's piano and some strings. It's real simple, and it's doing that bluesy kind of hard singing, really emotional stuff that Joe Cocker was famous for. Couple of famous people I mentioned earlier that the Beach Boys did this a lot live. A couple other famous remakes. I did not do a Spotify list because I didn't go in a deep dive. I'm sure there are more versions of this, but this is just a few. So Diana Ross did it. Has a nice sax solo, and again, it's piano and strings, similar to how Joe Cocker did it. Kenny Rogers did it with a piano. Babyface did it in 1993. It has more of a early 90s R&B feel to it. And then finally, Michael Bolton did it in 2011 to a piano. Babyface was not as piano-based. It was straight R&B. Yeah, Michael Bolton did it in 2011, 3:53, a little longer than Joe Cocker. And he doesn't go full, because Michael Bolton's known, he's kind of a Joe Cocker himself. He brings a lot of emotion and whatnot, but he doesn't try to, I guess, duel with Joe Cocker. I mean, can't remember whether it was In Living Color or Saturday Night Live did a bit, and where Michael Bolton's singing, and he's singing so hard his head explodes. Well, he doesn't go that route in this when he kind of hangs back. I like Michael Bolton. He's a good singer, but he does not go down Joe Cocker's road. He kind of lets Joe do his thing. Now, the most famous thing about this song for me is the last few lines that Joe sings, because in the era of autotune, this is, and I'm not, folks use autotune fine. It's in GarageBand for me, and Pro Logic, or what's the one? Is it? Yeah, I think it's Logic Pro. Yeah, that Apple does. Yeah, but it's there. I've never found it. I've never used it. I'm never going and never will go on a rant about how, the music set today sucks because everybody's using auto-tune. And this is, if you Gen X and boomers love to do this. I like good music, and a lot of people use auto-tune as a fact. Hey, I don't know. I like emotion in my singing, and that's gone. Is that auto-tune's fault? I don't know, but I've always loved the fact that, um, and, the memorable part of this song is, again, the last 7 or 8 seconds, Joe Cocker singing. And, come on, he ain't on key, but it works, it works. An opera coach would be like, oh no, we have to do this again. And two things I tried to look, what was the first reaction, after Joe sang those notes? Were they like, we need to do a retake, or was it like, oh man, like, that's different, but it works? Couldn't find the answer to that one. And my other question I would have loved to find the answer to that I didn't was, what was Billy Preston's, what did he think of the song? Maybe it's out there, but, couldn't find what Billy Preston thought. But, Billy was the writer, made a lot of money off the song. So, regardless of what he thought, I'm sure, I know he liked those paychecks. But probably, Billy had a reputation for being I think he seemed to be a pretty easy to get along and stand-up guy. So he probably didn't have a problem with it. Anyway, this is a quick one. Let me hit this close. Thank you for coming through. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Got 5 albums of my own, working on number 6. Hopefully in a couple of weeks that drops. Record under the name Exodus, Xodus. My first album is called Book One. I also write science fiction and fantasy. I write under the name Peter Exodus Okafor, and got 2 science fiction fantasy novels and a novella you can find on Amazon. So thank you again for coming through, and I will see you next episode.